about this little island, and when I get off, I come back again. Oh, I would
Right.
want to leave.
Hey, it's 7:06. Good morning, Tuesday, April 27th. Let's head out, literally out, into the KUAM News Zoom room. We're standing by in what my grandma used to call the hot sun. Rev Tax Director Dafne Shimizu. Good morning, Daphne. Good lighting.
Happy day, Sabrina. Happy day, Jason, and happy day, Guam. I hope you could hear me.
Yeah, you're
I'm
coming
actually
in.
here at the DPW compound. I just wanted to share with you, of course, our new location for vehicle registration, which is here at the DPW compound, Building B. I am outside in the parking lot, and that's because I wanted to show you the outside of the building that we're at, and also share with everyone, how do you get here? Because some people may be wondering, how do you get to DPW Building B? So I'm right here. Of course, DPW is located right here off of Marine Corps Drive. Behind me, you can see Marine Corps Drive. And just real quickly, how to get here and where I am is, right here, if you are heading north on Marine Corps Drive, everybody knows where Kmart is, right? Just a little bit north of Kmart, you're going to find the very first stoplight right here, and you're going to make a right. And that will take you right into the DPW Building B compound. So when you make that right turn, you're going to come to a little bit of a road. Behind me, you can actually see the the business license permit center. That is where, of course, we work with the other agencies to help to get licenses out and building permits out as quickly as possible for people. You're going to come to a stop sign at the end of the little road. When you get there, you're going to make a right, and that right will bring you into this parking lot. And I want to say thank you so much to Director Vince Ariola, of course, and to the DPW team here. They worked really, really hard to make sure that, of course, we had ample parking for our customers. And so, right behind me is our parking. And when you get to DPW Building B, you're going to go ahead and find a parking space here. I'm going to turn around and I'm going to show you where our building is. Good morning. Some of the DPW employees are saying good morning to me. So right here, you'll see behind me, that building right there is DPW Building B. You'll see our sign right at the top, and it says Department of Revenue and Taxation Vehicle Registration Branch. And I'm going to bring you in there in a minute. But really, that's where it is. I kind of wanted to show you a little bit of our kind of the logistics here so that when people come here, they're aware of where to go. Of course, you know what, our services now, what we're really happy to report about is that now you can come and see us for vehicle registration services Monday through Friday. Of course, since we opened up in January, this is the first time that we could actually do this Monday through Friday, 8 to 5. We've only been doing vehicle registration services on Thursdays and Fridays as walk-ins. So we're very happy that here at DPW Building B, our vehicle registration branch is going to be able to service you from 8 to 5, Monday through Friday. And that, again, is something that we have been working on. The opposite of that is, of course, up at Barrigada, we're able to service our driver's license customers Monday through Friday, 8 to 5. Of course, we do have limited capacity. So, please, thank you again for your patience. And, just please, if you could, we appreciate your patience because, of course, we are doing our best to meet the demand that we really see of our services. Behind me here, though, you'll notice there's a tent with cones. So right here, you'll see that first set of cones here, and that tent, that is for our general public. And so that's for the general line that we have. You'll also see behind me a sign that says appointments. We still are servicing our appointments. Those people who have scheduled appointments already, we're going to continue to serve you. You're going to come to DPW Building B if you have an appointment. If you have an appointment, go ahead and go straight to the sign right here that says appointment, and we'll be able to serve you. And if you're here from 8 to 9 and you are, of course, one of the, you're an individual with disabilities, you're a Manamco or you're a veteran, then you can go ahead and get in line right in front of the building, right along the front side of our building. And that line is for our individuals with disabilities, of course, our veterans and our Manamco. And again, we're very happy that we're able to open up yesterday. We had, several people already come in yesterday and we were able to serve them. And I think that, of course, again, number one is that we want to be able to serve our people Monday through Friday, 8 to 5 as they need and not have to limit them to Thursdays and Fridays. I am going to walk you inside, though, Chris, if you don't mind.
Sure,
I do have my mask, my handy-dandy mask. So
nice.
I am working. I know we still are in COVID situation, but because I'm out in a parking lot kind of by myself, with the exception of some stray dogs, I was not wearing my mask, but I'm going to go ahead and go in. I'm going to wear my mask. And I'm going to kind of walk you through. You're going to see, again, the sign that says appointment. You're going to see, of course, the regular line here where the cones are up, and also where DPW has done a really great job at making sure that the 6-foot markers are set up. So I'm going to put my mask on. Of course, I want to make sure.
Dav, let me just cut in here. So this is Rev Tax Director Dafne Shimizu. She's taking us on a tour of the Rev Tax's new satellite vehicle registration location, which is at the DPW compound at Building B. Go ahead, Dav.
Right, and thank you so much, Chris. And again, half a day, everybody. I'm here at DPW Building B at Rev Tax's new location. It's the only location that we're servicing vehicle registrations. So, you know, again, we want to let everybody know we're here. We opened up since yesterday. We're open 8 to 5, Monday through Friday. I'm going to go ahead and walk in. We actually have already someone who's sitting here. Good morning, ma'am. Sitting here waiting. So waiting for our services. Of course, again, we open up 8 to 5. Morning.
Good morning. Bananas Azules.
We do have, of course, Chris from our vehicle registration branch. Good morning. He's already ready to begin to serve our people and to make sure that we screen everybody and that they have the proper documents. And I'm going to walk in. So as you come in, you're going to go ahead and come this way. We're very happy that we were able to procure some hand sanitizing thermometers that are stand up. So you'll go ahead and make sure that you take your temperature, get your hands sanitized. Let's just do that. Okay, I'm all good. And I'm going to walk you through right here. So we do have, just like we did over at vehicle registration branch in Barragata, we do have our line that's strictly for our veterans, our individuals with disabilities, and our Mononco. We also do have, of course, our regular line. And we're very excited. Again, DPW did a really, really great job to make sure that we were ready to start up. And if you look behind me here, you can see on the floor these orange markers. We marked off to make sure, again, people are safe. We have stanchions to help kind of keep things organized. Behind me, we do, again, have our counter for individuals with disabilities, also our veterans and our Mononco. And then I'm just going to walk you over here. We also have, you know, and again, DPW did a great job at setting this up, but we do have here, you know, of course, the different counters that people are going to be served. Again, we're continuing to serve people who have appointments. And so, you know, right here, we do have, of course, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. I believe the last 2 counters, which are 7 and 8, are for our appointments. So again, if you have an appointment that's already scheduled, don't be disheartened. Yes, we are going to continue to serve. And we actually have here Christina, who's here already, getting ready to serve our. Say good morning, Christina.
Good morning.
Morning, Christina.
And we also have Mike, who's here ready as well. So,
good
you know,
morning,
even
again.
though it's not even talk, we already have people who are here and who are preparing so that, again, you know, we can make sure that we serve our people the best that we can. And anyway, so that was kind of the tour of the front area. And you know what? It is not as big as building, as of course, DRT Barragata, which is over 50,000 square feet. But again, what we're happy about is we believe that this, you know, space is going to be able to accommodate our vehicle registration branch. And, you know, of course, accommodate the people that need those services. And definitely number one is that we're going to be able to do this 8 to 5, Monday through Friday. And so, you know, again, want to thank you for giving me the opportunity to give you a little bit of a tour.
Right on. We appreciate it, Daph. And we did have a few comments here. I guess, first of all, a lot of people are asking about the stimmy.
Sure. So with regards to stimulus payments, as you know, from the time that our plan got approved back in April 10, we did begin to process payments. In the first week, by that Friday following that Saturday, that within that 1 week, we were able to get out $194.5 million in EIP payments. So those, how it works, and I know there are a lot of people who are calling and have questions about their stimulus. I haven't received it yet. So the process is, of course, that we do work to process those payments, whether they're by direct deposit or they're by check. We transmit the information regarding those payments if they're a direct deposit, and then we transmit those checks to the Treasurer of Guam, and the Treasurer of Guam does go ahead and make sure that she and her team sign off on those checks and mail them out. And so, of course, there is time involved, right, for that. And then again, after that, what happens is it goes to the post office, and of course, those get sorted and mailed out. I know, again, we had done $194.5 million in 1 week. That was over 70,000 payments. We're very excited and happy about that. This past week, which was the week after, of course, our plan had passed, we were able to process another $3 million in EIP payments. And Chris, just so you know, what we're going to be doing is similar to what we've been doing all along, even with the other EIP programs, which is that we're going to be processing payments on a weekly basis. So, if you have not received a payment yet, perhaps there was a document missing. And if you don't mind, I'm going to go outside so I can take my mask off.
Sure.
If you have a document, you have to go ahead and provide a document, or perhaps you didn't file your return yet and it's going to be processed. For those people who have that issue or run into that, we are going to be working to continue to process payments. So again, you know what, we're doing our best to process payments as quickly as we can so we can get them out to our people. If you haven't already received it, but a check was processed for you, you will be getting that in the mail. And if you have any issues, of course, you can contact our office, or you can also contact the treasurer if you have an issue. But it is going to be important for you to make sure you have the information on your check. So with regards to the payment, so you'll have to log in, if you can, to myguamtax.com. You can register. Make sure you have all your information regarding your tax return so that you can enter it and we can confirm your identity. Once you have that information, again, if you, again, I am letting people know, if you could just give it a week or two from the time that your check was processed, to see if it comes in the mail. I know people have been receiving it. I've also been, meeting up with people who have been receiving their payments, and they are coming. Again, just if you could give it a little bit of time, but you can go ahead and log into myguamtax.com and check the status. And again, for those people who may not have filed yet, or who were not included in the first round because maybe they had information that they had to provide, but they were able to provide it. We are working to process payments on a weekly basis so that we can make sure that everybody gets their EIP 3 payments as quickly as possible.
Daph, I'm just wondering, like, behind the scenes, do you say stimmy or do you still say stimulus?
I can't call it stimmy. I still call it EIP 3. In fact, we have to make sure that we keep that we talk EIP 1, EIP 2, EIP 3, and then now, of course, as people are filing their returns, if you recall, for EIP 1 and 2, if you didn't receive it, or if you didn't receive the full amount, but you could based on a 2020 return, we're actually beginning to pay out those recovery rebate credits too. Oh. So, not only are we turning around the EIPs, we're also turning around those recovery rebate credits. So again, for those people who may not have received the full amount of EIP 1 or 2, they are going to go ahead and get those payments now as a recovery rebate credit on their 2020 return as we work to process those.
Daph, we had a comment here. When checking status online for EIP 3, it states that the mailing address is incorrect, but I received the previous stimulus at the same address.
Okay, so you know what? You'll need to make sure that the information that you have on your return is for the proper year. Sometimes people do, they have, or they may change their addresses from year to year. So the return address, the address you have on your return, maybe for 2018 or 2019, may not be the same address that you use for 2020. So it's really important to go ahead and check what address was on those returns so that you can make sure that the return or the address that's being used is that. And how it works, Chris and Jason, is that we utilize the address that is on the return, and we cannot divert from that. And so again, it's very important that you check the address.
Daph, what about tax refund status update?
Okay, great. So last week we did process another batch of Feb 12 tax refunds. I believe we did over $9 million. We're excited about that. Our team is actually gearing up, and of course, we do work very closely with DOA Director Byrne, and also our fiscal, our head of our fiscal team, our fiscal advisor, and so that we can make sure that we process payments. We will be processing payments this week. We don't have the final information on it yet, but we'll work to get that as soon as we process that.
What about, did the property tax deadline just pass recently? How'd that go?
Sorry, what was that, Chris?
Property tax?
Oh, yes. So April 20 was the date for the second installment payment for real property taxes. And, of course, after April 20, if you haven't made your payment, there are penalties that are assessed. I really highly recommend that people go ahead and make that payment. As you know, by law, we're required to print out or to issue what's called a delinquent listing Our delinquent listing is expected to be printed out, I believe, and issued or published in June. And so, of course, we really highly recommend that for people who have not paid their real property taxes, that they make sure that they do. You can actually pay it online. If you have your real property tax statement and you have your parcel identification number, you can go ahead and get onto our website and you can make payment. So you don't even have to physically come in. But if you do need to physically come in, of course, you could go to DRT office in Barrigada, our real property tax team. Again, we're open 8 to 5, Monday through Friday for walk-ins. Our real property team can assist you. And so, of course, you can go ahead and do that. You can go see our real property tax team, and then you can go ahead and make payment at the Treasurer of Guam at DRT in Barrigada.
We had a comment here. I'm not really sure what she's referencing, but Cecilia comments, and if you file already but didn't do the amendment yet, will you still get the EIP?
Okay, so probably Cecilia is talking about the $10,200 in unemployment. And I know there was a lot of questions about that. And in fact, of course, we from the start have been, our guidance, which was issued back in April 1, states that if you're going to go ahead and work to claim or reduce your taxable income by that $10,200 in unemployment, that you must file an amendment. I think that, there have been a lot of questions because, of course, the IRS had come out early on and said, you don't have to file an amended return. We'll go ahead and make payment to you, and we'll make that payment, and you won't have to worry about amending a return. Later on, actually, and I was just sharing this with one of my colleagues, is that the IRS actually came out, and I'm sorry, I'm going to try to get out of the way of these DPW.
Yeah. Please do.
I'm trying to stand in a place where I'm not going to get run over.
Good idea.
Where I'm not
Thank
going to
you.
somebody's way, actually, because these hardworking people here at DPW are already coming into work. So thank you to them. But so with regards to the guidance for the IRS, actually, it actually changed a little bit. Initially, they had said you wouldn't have to file an amended return. And then the additional guidance came out that they would only be doing certain adjustments. But if you were going to claim other credits that you hadn't claimed originally on your return, credits that you may now be eligible for, that you would still have to amend your return. And so, I think that, I'm proud of how we have rolled this out in terms of our guidance, because of course, we want to make sure that when people file, or when people are, we want to make sure that the amounts that you're receiving are actually the amounts that, one, you've agreed to, you understand, you've signed off on, and they're the maximum amounts that, you are filing with us. So, again, we had issued that guidance. Now, if you have filed a 2020 return already or a 2019 return already, it is actually possible for you to receive that EIP3 payment, even though you have not amended your return. And so to Cecilia's point, or her question, you can still, it is possible as long as you're eligible and you have filed a return and it is validly filed and processed in our system. But you know what, again, I highly recommend that for Cecilia and for all those people who did receive unemployment compensation that did not take the exemption yet, that you go ahead and do that. Of course, Director Dave Delasola and I have discussed this issue. Both Rev Tax and the Department of Labor have already provided the guidance on how to go ahead and report that unemployment compensation on Schedule 1 of your Form 1040. So, if you haven't done so, we highly recommend that you do so as soon as possible. And so that way you can get the maximum amount of refund, or make sure that, you're getting the maximum amount back, or reducing your tax liability and not unnecessarily paying things that that are not required of you.
Thank you for that, Daph. Earned income tax credit update.
Regarding the earned income tax credit, of course, that's something that we're very grateful to Congress. And of course, for many years, our government has been working to try to get the earned income tax credit reimbursed to our government. It actually, on an annual basis, can cost us anywhere between 51 to maybe almost $60 million a year. And these are payments, of course, to our people who have earned income that qualify and are run in a certain bracket. And so with regards to the ITC, I have not yet discussed the ITC and how that will work with the IRS. Of course, our main goal was to try to finish up the discussions on EIP3. Now we're going to be pivoting. Of course, the next question is about the child tax credit, actually, Chris, because there is an advanced child tax credit that is part of the ARP. And I have begun discussions and requested for meetings with the IRS regarding the advanced child tax credit, how that will be applied or implemented in Guam. And so, again, that's our next step, is to work on that. The ITC, again, is part of our discussions, but, we're kind of working in phases in terms of the way that, of course, we believe that we need to roll out monies to our people. And so the next round of discussions probably will focus largely on the additional child tax credit.
Daph, we had another comment here. What are the good phone numbers?
Okay, so with regards to calling our office, you know what? If you, again, there's 3 phone numbers that I want people to remember, and that's 635-1840, 1841, and 7651. We've done our best again, Chris, Jason, Sabrina, to make sure that we have people manning those lines. We do have people that are going to start being there about 8 o'clock this morning, making sure that they're answering the phone calls. And so, you know, if you could call 635-1840, 1841, and 7651. But, you know, we do have very high call volumes. And so, you know, I highly recommend that for those people who are able to utilize some of our services where we have provided these tools, for example, the refund lookup, the EIP 3, 2, and 1 lookup, you know, those types of things, we do have those available. And, you know, just like the IRS highly recommends that people log into their websites and try to access information in that way to avoid having to wait on the phone for a long period of time. You know, we also highly recommend that if it's information on your refund, information on your EIP 3, 2, or 1, that you go ahead and use the lookup tools that we have set up. You know, again, that was, you know, part of our efforts, again, to try to help people so they don't have to wait, so they don't have to call. You can access it 24 hours a day. You can check the status and you can see how much of a refund or how much of a EIP 3 you're going to be getting or how much has already been paid to you.
Daph, if we filed hard copy, not e-file, how do we track with Guam Tax Online when it keeps saying no tax on file?
So if you filed a hard copy, and again, you know what, it was very important for us that we included the language validly filed and processed in our implementation plans. Of course, it does take time for people to file and for us to get a manually filed return processed. And that is why, to the extent possible, of course, if you are able to, we highly recommend people to file online. E-filing, of course, you know what, is very quick. If you qualify for e-filing, you know, again, and we do have that guidance on our website. You know, again, we highly recommend that you do, because once you've e-filed, as long as all of your information is accurate, your social security numbers, your dependents, your income, then you actually can be considered validly filed and processed upon your filing. And so, you know, which is different from, of course, a paper filing. And as I mentioned, of course, before, on Feb 12, which is the first day that we began receiving 2020 returns, you know, initially we had thought it was 9,500 returns, but it actually ended up being well over 10,000 returns manually filed that we've received on that day. And so we do have a lot of returns to process. I'm very excited, though, that we did actually hit over 4,500 returns that are e-filed, the Forms 1040 online as of yesterday.
Wow.
And I'm always calculating, like, how many hours is that, right? It's like 45,000 minutes, which is like 900 hours or something. So I'm like always like calculating, like, how many hours is this? How many hours is this? And actually, I may be wrong on that, so excuse me. But, you know, I'm always calculating to see how many minutes are we able to, how many hours of work are we able to save by every single e-filed return. And, you know, again, for every hour that's saved, that's just time that we can use to better serve our people, to do more analysis, to do more high-level work, so we're not having to do a lot of manual processing.
Last question, Daph. And is there any update on the RISE Act?
No, I don't have an update on the RISE Act at this point. Again, that's something that I believe, you know, again, we have not heard any update on the RISE Act. I don't have any update on that. But if we do have an update, Chris and Jason and Sabrina will do our best to make sure we get that to you.
Thank you, Daph. Okay, thank you so much for the tour. Again, she's at Building B, DPW compound. That's the new satellite location for vehicle registration. Right, Daph?
Right. Thank you so much. Again, 8 to 5, Monday through Friday here at DPW Building B. We're here to help serve you for your vehicle registration branch services. So, you know, hope to see you soon. And thank you again, Chris, Sabrina, Jason. Thank you, Guam. Have a great day.
You too, Daph. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right. Appreciate it, Daphne. There you go.
I hope people realize Joser was actually saying this, and it's, you know, I mean, you know, we in broadcast media.
We in broadcast media.
There's things we call, like, you know,
right
we call, like, you know, when we do reports out in the field, we call it like a stand-up, right? Because literally you're standing there and you normally do like a report. For somebody to like walk around and narrate and take questions on the fly and everything like